On Global TV News Prime, federal government begins payment of ASU's withheld salaries. Defense Minister reaffirms ban on authorized use of camouflage. Court strikes out treason case against Shaware Bakare. On the foreign scene, Israel condemns Brazil's President Lula for likening Gaza war to a Holocaust. And in sports, Infantino suggests new date for 2025 AFCON schedule. And a business naira drops to 2,000 naira to the pound sterling at parallel market. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofewe. Tonight, we begin by telling you Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has arrived the country after attending the 37th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the African Union Heads of State and Government. Nigeria Air Force 001 pulled up at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 400 hours local time, concluding his 15th foreign trip since assuming the presidency 9 months ago and logging 73 days abroad. The president was received by top government officials, including his chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, national security advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, and Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle. Also on the receiving line were Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma, Director General, Department of State Service, Yusuf Bichi, among others. Let's turn to other stories for you. The federal government has commenced the payment of the withheld salaries of academics under the aegis of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Multiple sources in the academic sector confirmed the developments in the nation's capital. Chairperson of ASU at the Federal University of Technology, Minna, Professor Gbolahan Bolari, who confirmed the development on the record, said it is true. Payment has started rolling in. Recall that President Bola Tinubu had, in October of last year, approved the release of 4 of the 8 months ASU withheld workers' salaries. Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosu Tijani, says Nigeria will overcome India as the next global exporter of technology talents. The minister said the overall target of the flagship programs of his ministry is to create jobs for the teeming Nigerian youths. According to him, the program, which is geared towards training 3 million technical talents in 4 years, is to make Nigeria a net exporter of technology talents, just like India. A group of protesters in their hundreds had staged a peaceful demonstration in the city of Ibadan, Oyo State capital, calling on President Bola Tinubu to address issues of insecurity and hunger in the country. The protesters, who are mostly youth, said they are fed up with the current state of affairs in the country and are demanding concrete action from the government. They also expressed concern about the high cost of living, which they said is making it difficult for people to afford necessities. They said food prices have also skyrocketed, making it difficult for many Nigerians to feed their families. The Special Committee overseeing the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has held its inaugural meeting in readiness for the program rollouts Monday, February 26, 2024. The meeting was chaired by Governor of the Central Bank, Olayemi Cardoso, who is also the chairman of the Special Committee. The 11-member committee comprises chairman, representatives of the ministries, departments, and agencies as stipulated in the Student Loans, Access and Higher Education, and the Executive Secretary of NELFund, Akintunde Sawyer, who is the secretary of the special committee. Cardoso charged committee members to use their diverse skills to ensure the success of the program, which is one of President Bola Tinubu's signature projects. Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has disclosed that his administration does not have any plan to abolish the recently created Local Council Development Area (LCDAs) in the state. Instead, Aiyedatiwa said his government will soon constitute transition committees for the 18 local government areas and 33 LCDAs ahead of the forthcoming local government elections in the state. Governor Aiyedatiwa disclosed this during a meeting with the former members of caretaker committees of the LGAs and LCDAs at the governor's office in Akure, the state capital. According to him, the creation of LCDAs was one of the legacies of the late former governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, which must be preserved. Elsewhere, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has predicted haziness and cloudiness across the country from Monday to Wednesday. It warned people with respiratory issues, among others, to be cautious of the weather and wear masks. NIMET's weather outlook released in Abuja forecasts moderate dust haze with a horizontal visibility range of 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers over the northern and north-central states. Except Benue, Kogi, and Kwara, where patches of cloud and a hazy atmosphere are anticipated, patches of clouds are expected over the inland of the south throughout the forecast period. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has intercepted large quantities of illicit drugs and substances in raids carried out in Ondo, Edo, and the Federal Capital Territory in the past week. This is contained in a statement by the agency's spokesman, Femi Babafemi, in Abuja. He said 227 kilograms of hemp was recovered from Atoshi Camp, Emure-Ile, Owo local government area, Ondo State. Babafemi added that 2 suspects have been arrested. He also said that operatives in Edo, acting on intelligence on February 14, had intercepted the consignments of methamphetamine. Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, has reaffirmed the ban on unauthorized use of military camouflage, saying it is only the armed forces and the Nigeria Police Force, while on joint operation with the military, that are allowed by law to use the military camouflage. The minister has called this coming against the backdrop of increase in the use of military camouflage by kidnappers, bandits, and other criminals who disguise as military and paramilitary personnel to cause havoc in society. Spokesman of the Ministry of Defense, Ensho Ogubuike, while making this known in Abuja, said the present situation does not support the use of military camouflage by people who are not authorized or not personnel of the defense headquarters. Matawalle emphasized the readiness of the Nigeria Armed Forces and the Nigeria Police to enforce the directive given by the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, regarding the immediate cessation of the use of camouflage uniforms by paramilitary agencies. The Military Pensions Board, PMB, has given insight into why it decided to commence an electronic verification of retired military personnel in the country to, among other things, save veterans the security risks associated with traveling by road. It will also take away the financial burden of traveling to Nigeria for pensioners residing outside the country. According to the MPB, besides the security challenge, it says continuing with the physical verification exercise has become difficult due to certain factors such as the old age of Nigeria's esteemed pensioners and the high cost of transportation, among others. The police command in Bauchi State says it has arrested 2 suspects over the alleged theft of 9 cell phones in the state's metropolis. The command also arrested 1 other suspect for allegedly snatching a motorcycle in the state. This is contained in a statement by the spokesman of the command, SP Ahmed Wakil, in Bauchi. He said operatives of the command arrested the suspects behind Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Stadium in possession of phones stolen from different locations in Gombe. The police said recovered parcels of marijuana and 78,000 naira was offered as a bribe to compromise the investigation. The mandate secretary of the FCT Women Affairs Secretariat, Adedayo Benjamin Lani, says the Federal Capital Territory Administration has sealed off an orphanage in Karo Majigi, the priesthood orphanage, after 23 children aged between 1 and 14 years trafficked from Plateau State were rescued from the orphanage. Benjamin Alani stated this when she addressed pressmen, adding that the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike had authorized the Secretariat to profile and rectify orphanages operating within the nation's capital. She noted that the Women's Secretariat was already working with the Office of the Commissioner of Women Affairs of Plateau State to reunite the children with their families, some of whom she said had been at the uncertified orphanage for 5 years since 2019. A federal high court in Abuja has struck out the treasonable felony charges against the 2023 African Action Congress presidential candidate Omolaye Sowore and Olawale Bakare. The federal government had last week discontinued the treasonable case against Sowore in particular. You're watching News Prime coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTimes, channel 276. Kindly follow us on our social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles as you now see on your screen. When News Prime returns, fuel scarcity hits Abuja as petroleum tanker drivers begin strike. The rest of the news continues shortly. Do stay with us after this break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Prime with Uyi Agumofwewe. Thank you for staying with us, everyone. Many filling stations across are currently closed in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, leading to long queues by motorists at a few outlets that are dispensing premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. Operators in the downstream oil sector confirmed the development was due to the suspension of operations by the Nigerian Association of Road Transport Owners in fulfillment of their threat to down tools beginning February 19. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL filling station on Arab Road in Kubwa, Abuja, was closed earlier this morning. The Kono Oil filling station along the Kubwa-Zuba Expressway had also had queues. Nigerians in New York have again appealed to the federal government to provide passport production printers to the Nigerian consulate to enhance smooth passport services in the United States. The concerned Nigerians made the call at a virtual 12th town hall meeting hosted by the consulate for the Nigerian community under its jurisdiction. During the question and answer segment of the meeting, the Nigerians wondered why the federal government would have only one passport production center in the United States, which is in Washington, D.C. The embassy in D.C. is the only passport production center across the U.S., while the consulates take biometrics for them to the embassy in Washington, D.C. for passport production. Let's move it up further to the foreign scene. 64 bloodied bodies have been found along a stretch of road in Papua New Guinea's remote highlands, a gruesome escalation of long-running violence between local warring tribes. The victims were believed to be tribal fighters who were ambushed by a rival group in the early hours of Sunday. The incident occurred near the town of Wabag, about 600 kilometers, which is equivalent to 370 miles northwest of the capital, Port Moresby. Police said gunfights were ongoing in nearby valleys and bodies are still being recovered from bushland near the road. Israel has condemned Brazil's president, Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, following his accusation that Israel has committed genocide in Gaza, comparing its actions to the Holocaust. Lula said Israel's military campaign was between a highly prepared army and women and children. The Brazilian president said this at the African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Israel accused Lula of trivializing the Holocaust and said it is fighting to destroy Hamas and return hostages taken by the militant group on October the 7th. The main Jewish organization in Brazil has also criticized Lula's comments. United Kingdom Special Forces have blocked Afghan troops that they had fought alongside from relocating to the UK after the Taliban seized power. Leaked documents show Special Forces rejected applications despite some containing compelling evidence of service alongside the British military. Afghan commandos accompanied British Special Forces on some of the most dangerous missions of the conflict. The Ministry of Defense said it was conducting an independent review. They were eligible to apply for resettlement to the UK under the Afghan Relocation and Assistance Policy (ARAP) scheme. However, hundreds had their applications rejected. Dozens have reportedly been beaten, tortured, or killed by the Taliban since. Huge crowds have rallied in Mexico's capital protesting proposed changes to the electoral authority ahead of June's presidential elections. The Mexico City government said some 90,000 people had turned out in the city's Zocalo Square. The rally organizers said the figure was much higher. The opposition accuses President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador of trying to weaken the National Electoral Institute, an autonomous, non-partisan body. He said the INE is biased and corrupt. Since his victory in the 2018 presidential elections, Lopez Obrador has been pushing for a reform of the INE, which he says will save taxpayers $150 million a year by drastically reducing the agency's staff. This demonstration in the capital's historic square is the latest such protest in Mexico in recent history. Animal welfare charities have welcomed an Africa-wide ban on the controversial donkey skin trade. It will make it illegal to slaughter donkeys for their skin in 55 countries across the continent. Demand for the animals' skins is fueled by the popularity of an ancient Chinese medicine called jiao, traditionally made from donkey hides. African state leaders approved the ban at the conclusion of the African Union Summit in Ethiopia. Dr. Yango stated that the ban would go a long way to safeguarding donkeys and the livelihoods of millions of people who rarely have them. Let's talk a bit about business now. The recent sharp depreciation of the naira in the foreign exchange market, as well as the rising inflation rates, has started eroding the value of assets under insurance cover. The recent developments in the industry have indicated that most risks are now underinsured as value of claims are getting lower than the assets they were supposed to cover. Also, insurance firms are now offloading their underwriting businesses to ceding arrangements with both local and foreign reinsurance, while also incurring higher insurance expenses, especially on overseas ceding due to weak naira. Nigeria's local currency is currently exchanging above 2,000 naira against the Great Britain pound at the parallel market. A Bureau de Change operator Awuse Zone 4 in Abuja, Malam Ibrahim, confirmed the rates today. He said it is true that the currency is selling above 2,000 naira for the pounds, and it is still about the heavy and consistent demand for all the currencies, including the US dollar. The central parity rate of the Chinese currency yuan strengthened 4 pips to 7.1032 against the dollar. That's according to the China Foreign Exchange Trade System. In China's spot foreign exchange market, the yuan is allowed to rise or fall by 2% from the central parity rate each trading day. The central parity rate of the yuan against the dollar is based on a weighted average of prices offered by the market makers before the opening of the interbank markets each business day. The Nigeria Data Protection Commission has issued a guidance notice to data controllers and processors of major importance in order to clarify the categories of organizations that are required to register with the Commission in line with the Nigeria Data Protection Act. Relying on some sections of the NDPA, organizations that are of particular value or significance to the economy, society, and security of Nigeria are designated by the Commission as data controllers and processors of major importance. According to the guidance notice signed by the Commission's Head of Legal Enforcement and Regulations, Babatunde Bamigboye, the data controller or data processor shall be deemed to have particular value or significance to the economy, society, or security of Nigeria, and hence designated to be of major importance if it keeps or has access to a filing system. And now it's time to join Kikelamo Okere for more updates on business news.
Hello and welcome to Business Report on Prime News. Nigeria's local currency is currently exchanging above 2,000 naira against the Great Britain pound at the parallel market. The naira depreciated against the dollar in the parallel forex market, where forex is unofficially trading at 1,673 naira from 1,670 naira to a dollar on Friday. This development persists despite the Central Bank of Nigeria implementation of several policies aimed at bolstering the supply of foreign exchange. One of the recent policies was the CBN's announcement of halting international oil companies operating in Nigeria from immediately remitting 100% of their forex proceeding to their parent companies abroad. Dollar sales by Deposit Money Bank and other entities at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market dropped by $252 million to $84.1 million. This represents a 74% drop from the $331.1 million transaction recorded at the official Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. The Naira depreciated to 1,537 Naira to a dollar from 1,498 Naira to a dollar recorded at the close of trading activities at the official market. Analysis of data obtained from FMDQ Security Exchange show that Forex turnover plunged by 74% to $84.10 million from $336.11 million. However, aside from commercial banks, the Central Bank of Nigeria, oil firm, and multinationals also sell dollar at NAFEM. The Nigerian Customs Service says it has intercepted 15 trailers that were fully loaded with food items and were heading out of the country through Sokoto State border. The trailer were stopped and the food items were returned to Nigeria. This is part of the measures to stabilize the prices of food items across the country in line with the mandate of the federal government. The federal government had set up a committee comprising the National Security Advisor, the Director General of Department of State Service, and the Inspector General of Police to clamp down on traders hoarding grains. The government had ruled out the importation of food as part of strategies to address the high cost of foodstuff and the economic hardship troubling the country. The National Pension Commission says it has made significant strides in ensuring compliance among employers regarding pension contribution. Between the year 2012 and 2023, PENCON says it has recovered a total of 25.4 billion naira in unremitted pension contributions from defaulting employers. This substantial amount encompasses the principal contribution of 12.93 billion naira and penalty totaling 12.52 billion naira in about 11 years. This disclosure was made by Ibrahim Boa, the Director of Corporate Communication at PENCOM, during the Finance Correspondent Association of Nigeria annual general meeting in Abuja. Boa highlighted the importance of the Pension Reform Act, noting that the legislation mandates penalty for late remittance accruing interest at a rate of 2% per month. He emphasized the nearly equal distribution between recovered principal contribution and penalty, underscoring the comprehensive effort to enforce compliance. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Thank you, Kikelamo, for that business update. Let's turn away from business now. Following an illustrious 3-decade career that has been characterized by a monumental impact and sterling service to humanity, a Thanksgiving dinner has been held for Chief Mrs. Lois Sankey Ozobia in Abuja, the nation's capital. And here's the detail. As guests exchange pleasantries and take their reserved seats, melodious music in the background is one of several indications that fun and excitement are in the air. The guests here tonight who are excited about the impact that the celebrant has had on the lives and endeavors of those who have crossed paths with her tell us the reason for tonight's gathering.
We are here on behalf of a special lady who just apparently got retired for her Thanksgiving service. And I was made to understand she's a very lovely and nice lady. That's why we're here, to celebrate with her.
We're here to celebrate her and to give thanks to God for all that He has done in her life. And we're here to join her in that fellowship.
Arrival of the celebrant, Chief Mrs. Lois Sankey Ozobia, signals a switching gear as guests usher her in with a standing and rousing ovation.
Our celebrant is here. Please, with a standing ovation, can we put our hands together as we celebrate Chief Mrs. Lois Ozobia, can you put your hands together? That applause. Can we just put our hands together even as she takes her seat?
For a person of faith, her priest has a brief but incisive message for her and everyone present.
And what I heard was that everybody who took time to put this together, and those who took time to be here, came to celebrate you, not because God hasn't blessed you enough, but you've become a stream and you've become a blessing that others are tapping from. And it's a good reason to say thank you to God, because it takes a man or woman of purpose who understands that life is not about I, myself, and I.
Godswill Egbe has known Chief Mrs. Lois Sankey Ozobia for upwards of 2 decades.
The celebrant Chief Mrs. Lois B. Sankey Ozobia, she has been my supervisor. You know, when I got a job as a deputy manager, she was assistant general manager, and even though she was a group head in another group, I was working on that group. But the important thing is that I found out that she's somebody who wants things done properly.
The celebrant herself shares a valuable piece of advice.
Wherever you are and you have the opportunity to help, you need to make the most of it. There's a lot going on in Nigeria. There's so much suffering that each and every one of us can help in any small way. You can help. Don't take an opportunity and just hold it by yourself. There's a lot of selfishness, self-service, but we really need to do a lot more, no matter how small, to help.
For Chief Mrs. Lois Sankey Ozobia, there is a whole lot to be grateful for and dance to. Such a life of impact right there. Congratulations to Chief Mrs. Lois Sankey Ozobia. Let's turn to sports now and find some excitement. Super Eagles goalkeeper Stanley Owambali has been conferred with a chieftaincy title by the traditional ruler of Ngbede community in Egbema Kingdom, River State, Nzobi Amida. The title, Ugo Egbema, the pride of Egbema Kingdom, was conferred on the goalkeeper following his performance at the recently concluded 2023 African Cup of Nations AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire. The title conferred on Owambali is in recognition of the honor the goalkeeper brought into Egbema Kingdom and Ongaga following his performance for the Super Eagles. Former South Africa international Dr. Khumalo has expressed confidence in Bafana's ability to triumph over the Super Eagles in the upcoming 2026 World Cup qualifiers scheduled for June. Khumalo pointed to South Africa's performance at the recently concluded 2023 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON as a source of optimism for their World Cup qualification aspirations. Nigeria defeated South Africa on penalties in the AFCON semi-final. However, Khumalo believes the third-place playoff winners deserve support as they turn their attention to the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has reportedly requested a significant change regarding the schedule for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, which is set to be held in Morocco. The recently concluded 2023 edition of the tournament in Ivory Coast received widespread acclaim. It not only witnessed the breaking of several on-field records, but also proved to be a commercial success, with the Confederation of Africa Football, CAF, confirming a record viewership from around the world. It is further reported that Infantino is keen on a prompt decision to allow adjustments to successful schedules if necessary, and to discuss the way forward with other international stakeholders. A current world leader in the 100-meter and African Games AFN trials favorites, Consider Akanem, failed to live up to the expectations of athletics fans who came to watch him run at the Athletics Federation of Nigeria AFN African Games National Trials in Asaba, Delta State, South Nigeria. Ekanem was ejected from the men's 100-meter because of a false start, leaving him crestfallen before the fans who thronged the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba, to watch the Nigeria's finest on the track. In his absence, speed star, a new kid on the block, 17-year-old Israel Okon Sunday, won the race in 10.20 seconds as he breezed past Fakorede Adekalu with 10.26 seconds and Enoch Adegoke with 10.30 seconds finish in third place. And now time to bring you more on sports with Anthony Momodu.
Welcome to Sports News Update. Bayern Munich will not sack Thomas Tuchel despite slipping 8 points behind Bundesliga leaders Bayer Leverkusen after losing to Bochum, reports claim. Pressure is rapidly building on Tuchel, with the German giants staring down the barrel of their first trophyless season in 12 years, and their shock 3-2 loss on Sunday proved to be their third damaging defeat in a row across all competitions. In a surprise move, Bayern cancelled the boss post-match press conference, leading to speculation that they would soon pull the trigger in a bid to salvage their season. However, Sky Germany reporter Florian Plettenberg revealed Tuchel will remain in post and that he is refusing to contemplate resigning owing to his desire to fight on. A nightmare week for Bayern also saw them lose to Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen, who ran out emphatic 3-0 winners, and to Lazio in the Champions League last 16. Bayern Munich's players were reportedly forced to hold Joshua Kimmich back from a tunnel spot with Thomas Tuchel's assistant after the team slumped to their third defeat in 8 days on Sunday, having lost to Bayern Leverkusen in the top of the table clash last Saturday and then being beaten by Lazio in the first leg of their last 16 Champions League tie. 4 days later, Bayern travelled to VfL Bochum, knowing they couldn't afford another slip-up. However, they suffered a 3-2 loss and had Dayo Upamecano sent off for the second straight match on a disastrous night for Tuchel's men, and things got heated after the final whistle. According to Bild, Bayern midfielder Kimmich, who had been substituted just after the hour mark, got into an argument with Tuchel's assistant on their way back to the dressing room. The fiery exchange appeared to be over, but Lowe then shouted something at Kimmich as he went up the stairs in the tunnel, sparking another confrontation. Kylian Mbappe has signed his Real Madrid contract and agreed a deal until 2029 with the La Liga giants, according to reports in Spain. The French superstar has been pursued by the Spanish outfit for years, and rumors he could join only intensified after informing PSG last week he would be leaving in the summer with his contract set to expire. And now Marca have reported that Mbappe already put pen to paper on his deal to join Madrid 2 weeks ago, with the player making a firm commitment to the Bernabeu outfit. Mail Sports reported last week that Madrid are willing to make Mbappe the club top earner, surpassing the £10.3 million per season they pay Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. They will also pay a sign-on fee of around £85.5 million and open talks over what percentage of his image rights he retains. Manchester City met with one of Kylian Mbappe's agents the day before he told PSG he wants to leave, according to reports in Spain. Club officials reportedly spoke with one of the forwards representatives in an informal capacity on Monday. On Tuesday, Mbappe told PSG President Nasser Al-Khalifi that he wishes to leave in the summer, and by Thursday it was public knowledge. Real Madrid are favourite to snatch Mbappe when his contract expires in June, and Mail Sports reported that they have the green light to sign him. However, this revelation that City met a member of Mbappe's camp in Manchester, as reported by Spanish radio network Cadena Ser, throws the cat among the pigeons. Cadena Ser claims that Mbappe has 3 principal representatives who are already making moves to set up his future. Madrid have pursued Mbappe for 7 years and have this time wanted a public show from him that he intended to leave PSG, having been left frustrated and humiliated in the past. Wrapping it up, talking golf, Hideki Matsuyama stormed to victory at the Genesis Invitational at the Rivera Country Club after 9 under par 62 in Sunday's final round. Tiger Woods hosted the tournament in California, but the 15-time major champion withdrew during the second round due to illness. Matsuyama hit 9 birdies in his bogey-free final round to finish 3 shots clear of Will Zalatoris and Luke Least. It is his 9th win on the PGA Tour and his first since the 2022 Sony Open in Hawaii. Matsuyama set the Rivera record for the lowest closing round by a winner, rallying from a 6-shot deficit to break the record for Asian-born players he shared with KJ Choi of South Korea. Matsuyama finished at 17 under, while Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele, best friends playing in the final group, faded on the back 9 and tied for 4th. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am Anthony Momodu.
Thank you, Anthony. Back to the future star Michael J. Fox, who is living with Parkinson's disease, made a surprise appearance to the BAFTAs to present the Best Film Award. The 62-year-old actor came on stage in a wheelchair but insisted on standing up at the podium to hand out the prize to Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Fox received a standing ovation, with many social media users posting that they were in tears seeing him on stage. He was diagnosed in the 1990s and rarely makes public appearances. Davis Guggenheim's film Still, a Michael J. Fox movie, was nominated for Best Documentary but lost out to 20 Days in Mariupol. As we end News Prime here on Global Television, let's now take a look at some of our top stories. Our federal government has begun payment of ASU's withheld salaries. Defense Minister has reaffirmed ban on authorized use of camouflage. A court has struck out a treason case against Sowore and Bakare. And on the foreign scene, Israel has condemned Brazil's President Lula for likening Gaza war to the Holocaust. And in sports, we told you Infantino has suggested due dates for the 2025 AFCON schedule. And that's a wrap here on News Prime, and it came to you live on Global Television in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Remember, you can catch us on Star Times channel 276 and kindly follow us across all social media platforms using that Global TVNG and other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Uyag Mofewe, thanking you very specially for watching on behalf of the entire team here at Global Television in Abuja.